Hello everyone. Now today we are going to see the next topic from our unit number 4. The name is association rules. So in the last session we have covered the frequent item set and the close item set topic, which are related to this association rules. So in the association rules we are going to see the different algorithms, and for the different algorithms we are using the concept like a frequent item sets and this close item sets and maximal item sets. So let's see what are the topics that we are going to cover. These are the association rules, introduction of that association rules, and finding a large item sets from the given transaction. So association rules introduction is saying that the items are considered for finding the frequent patterns. Frequent patterns we have already find out whenever we are calculating the frequent data sets, right, the frequent item sets. Now if we are going to find out the different patterns, we can search a relationship so that we can find out the common basis on which the customer shop in mall or a supermarket. So with that, regarding to this shopping, we have also seen the topic that is market basket analysis. So we are observing the purchasing behavior of the customer, that how they are purchasing the thing and how that things are related to one another. This thing we are going to analyze by using that market basket analysis. We have also seen the many applications of that also. So by looking at that purchasing behavior of the customer at a particular shop, we are going to analyze the frequency of items, which are chosen with the combination of another items. For example, we have taken the example of bread and butter. So those who are buying the bread, they are likely to buy the butter, or if someone is buying the milk, then they are likely to buy the bread. So these are some relationships are there, and according to that relationship, it is very easy for that owner of a shop to find out the behavior of customers while they are shopping. And if we are putting such items which are strongly related, if we are putting that item near to each other, then ultimately it is going to be give a benefit to that particular shopper. So these are the things which are used for a daily analysis also, and these things we can use for many transaction like a credit card, debit card transaction. So by looking at that, we can come to know that what is the behavior of the customer while they are purchasing any particular thing, and what are the frequency of purchasing the items, and in which sequence they are purchasing. That thing is very important. So all this we are going to analyze in a particular manner, and that is called as association rules. So this information is useful for a customer requirement identification, and thus in the return it increases in a cell. So according to this purchasing behavior, definitely it is giving a many strongful or useful information regarding to the requirement that are required for the identification of which kind of customers are requiring which kind of thing. So this increases the sales of that particular shopper also, and it is very beneficial for the customer to shop with this scenario also. So these are things which are related to the market basket analysis. Now what the rules formed and how they are formed. So we have seen that it is always depend, like if thing, then this will be a result. So if then is the pattern of our rules. If I am saying if I1, then result will be I2. If I1, then result will be. So it is in the form of if and then. So we are representing it as a I1 produces I2, means if we are considering this I1, then there will be the I2. But what is the condition they have given for if then state? That their intersection should be a 0. Their intersection should be a 0, means there should not be any common thing between both I1 and I2. Likewise, where I1 are a set of items, for example, that can be purchased in a mall. So here I1 is our input, that are set of items that can be available in the mall, and from this particular items are selected. The rule should be interpreted as, given that someone has bought the items in the set I1, they are likely to also buy the items in the set I2. For example, if the customer is buying milk, that is I1, then it is likely to be purchased the bread. So this is called as a I2. So they are related like this, and that's why we can interpret the statement like that someone has bought the items in the set I1 and they are likely to be purchased or they are likely to be buy the items in the another set, that is I2. So this is what the association rules that we are learning, and we are using the different algorithms for this also. So how we are going to find the large elements in our data set? So there are two methods we are using. The first is a brute force approach, that a normal approach we are using, and the second is the frequent pattern matching. So this brute force approach is very related to our market basket analysis, and what is this frequent pattern matching that we are going to see today. So what is the brute force approach? Find all the possible association rules, means whatever the combinations we can form. If we are having in our transaction data set, that is A, B, C, D. So how many combinations we can make? A, B, C, D, they are separately taken, then A with B, A with C, A with D, likewise. So you have to find out all the possible association rules. If A, then B likewise. Then you have to calculate the support and confidence for each rule. That we have also seen in the market basket analysis, that how we are going to find out the support and how we are going to find out the confidence. So for that we are using some formula, and according to that we have to calculate this support and confidence. The rule that fell the minimum support and a minimum confidence, they are removed, means whatever the combination we have prepared, and if any combination of that association rules is not satisfying the minimum support and minimum confidence, then we have to ignore that tuples. And these steps are very time consuming process, because we have to find out the different association rules, means different combination, then we are finding out the support and confidence for each and every item of that rule, and if that rule is not satisfying the minimum condition of the minimum support and minimum confidence, then again we have to ignore that tuple. So we are doing multiple things, and after that it will become very time consuming process, and we have a better approach instead of this. That approach name is a priori algorithm. So in our upcoming lecture we are going to see this algorithm a priori, which is widely used in our data mining technique, algorithm in our data mining technique. So we are going to see that a priori algorithm also. Now what are the frequent item sets that we have already covered? We are just revising once what are the frequent item sets, because we are saying that we are using this frequent item sets or closed item sets for this association rules. So the frequent item sets are nothing but item sets are called as a collection of items, and which are appear frequently in a transaction data sets. They are called as a frequent item set. So how we are going to count that? How many transactions are contained that particular item set? According to that number of transactions, we are saying that this is what the frequency or a support count or a count of item set into that particular transaction data set. So that number of transactions containing a particular item is called as a frequency of that item. An item set X is a frequent if its support count is no less than the minimum support, means it should be greater than the minimum support threshold. Then and then only we can say that our item set is a frequent item set. So if we are saying there are only one item in the item set, then we will call it as a one item set. If there are two items, then we are calling as a two item set. Same way, if there are k items, then we are calling it as a k items. In this example, that mobile and SIM card is the example. Then in that we can say that it is a two item set, because the k is equal to 2 here. If support of item set, whatever we have chosen, whether it is mobile SIM card or any another, it should have their support value or a frequency count greater than a minimum support. It should be a greater than minimum support. Then and then only we can call a particular item set as a frequent item set. So an item set, we are going to say it is closed if none of its immediate supersets has the same support as an item set. So here our definition is given in another terms, that we are going to find out the closed item set also, we are going to find out the maximal frequent item set also. So if we want to say in the easy terms, then here are the definition is given, that the closed item sets are nothing but the item set is said to be closed if none of its immediate supersets are having the same support count as the item set. Then and then only we can say it as a closed item set, and the maximal is nothing but An item set is said to be the maximal frequent if none of its supersets are a frequent. So they are a little bit having the same terms in the definition, but what they are exactly saying, for the maximal item set, whatever the supersets we are considering, then none of supersets should be a frequent. Then and then that item is called as a maximal item set. When there not any single supersets are a frequent, then we are saying that is a maximal item set. And when we are saying it is closed, when the item set is closed if none of its immediate supersets will have the same support count as of that particular item set, then we are going to see this as a closed item set. We have also seen the examples in the lattice diagram. We have seen the example in the tabular format. So these are the two examples we have seen related to the maximal and the closed item sets in the previous session also. So according to this frequent item finding, now how we are going to find out the frequent pattern matching. So in the frequent pattern matching, that are going to be classified in the different criterias, like the completeness of that pattern to be mined, the level of abstraction that involved in the rule set, then the number of data dimensions which are involved in our rule whatever we have defined, and the types of the value handled in the rule, which kind of values we are using in the rule, that is also useful for the frequent pattern matching, and the kinds of the rules to be mined and the kinds of the patterns to be mined. So these things are slightly different whenever we are considering the rule, whenever we are considering the pattern. So it is going to be changed according to their rules or pattern. So what is the meaning of this each and every one, that we will see here. What is the first thing? Completeness of the pattern to be mined. Here we can mine the full set of frequent item set, or a closed frequent item set, or a constrained frequent item set. Now we have seen that what is the frequent item set? The number of transactions that containing a particular item set, that we are saying the frequent item set. Closed frequent means we have seen the definition that no of its superset should have the same frequency count as of that item set. Then we are saying that it is a closed frequent item set. And what is the constraint? If we are applying some constraints over there on that frequent items, then it should follow that constraint, then it is called as a constraint frequent item sets. So the completeness of the pattern to be mined means we have to mine the full set of frequent, closed and constraint frequent item set over here. So here we are doing the first satisfying the first criteria of completeness. What is the next thing? The level of abstraction that are involved in the rule set. Which kind of level of abstractions we are putting over there. So the level of abstraction of the data affects the multi-level association rules. Definitely it is going to be at multiple level if their data is a very large, our database or a data set is a very large. So in that case we have to prepare some hierarchy over there, some levels of abstractions we have to prepare, and that we are going levels or that abstraction level will affect to the multi-level association rules. Next is number of data dimensions involved in the rule. Whenever we are having a multi-dimensional data, we are storing that data into the form of cube. A cube is nothing but a multi-dimensional data storage where we can store the data into the multiple dimension, that is more than one dimension. So the multi-dimensional association rule is also required to handle such a multi-dimensional data. By using the simple association rule, we can't handle the multi-dimensional data. So for that purpose, we need the strong association rule. That rules are called as a multi-dimensional association rule, and that rules can only used if we are having more than one dimensional data in our data cube. Then and then we have to design a multi-dimensional association rule to handle such a data. Okay, so these are the three criteria that should be satisfied for the frequent pattern matching. The next is the types of the values that handle in the rule. Means which kind of values will be accepted by that rule, which kind of values are handled by that rule. If we are mentioning that A gives B, or if A then B, that we are saying it is a kind of Boolean expression, right? Means whether A is true, then B is true, what is the answer? Likewise. So if then else statements we are using, so that data the rules can handle can be a Boolean, or it can be any quantitative association rule that are needed. So it also matters that which kind of values, which kind of type of values we are using for handling such a association rules, whether it is related to the frequent pattern mining or whether it is related to the frequent item set mining. So it depends, definitely it is going to be depend on the type of values. And the next is nothing but the kinds of rules to be mined. Here the association and the correlation rules can be mined. Means what we are exactly needed, that should we know whether we have to apply the association rule over here or correlation. If we are going to see the association rules, then here we are having the a priori algorithm, then we are having the frequent pattern matching, frequent item sets measuring, supports and confidence. But whenever we are considering the correlation, so in case of correlation we are having the another term like a simple coefficient correlation, Spearman coefficient correlation. The terms are slightly changing over here when you are applying the different rules. If you are saying association rules, then different rules you have to apply. If you are saying the correlation rules, then different rules you apply. So you should know what kind of the rules to be mined for mining such a particular data. So we should know which rules we have to apply over there, whether we are going to find out the association or whether we are going to find out the relation between the variables. So according to that, we have to use that particular rules for mining a data from our given data set. Then a kinds of pattern to be mined. This should be known in prior, that which kind of patterns we need to mine from that given data sets. So here we use the frequent item mining, item set mining, sequential pattern mining and the structural pattern mining. So these things we can apply if we know in prior that which kind of patterns we need to mine, whether we are going to find out the frequent item sets, whether we are going to find out the particular pattern, structured pattern, sequential pattern. So according to that our requirement, we should apply such a rules over there. So this is what the things that we should know. These are the some criteria that are given whenever we want to do the frequent pattern mining. So in the previous slide itself we have mentioned that whenever we want to find out some better approach to do to avoid such a things, that to calculate the support and confidence, and then we are checking whether they are satisfying our minimum condition or not. So better way is that whatever the approach is given as a solution to that, that is a priori algorithm. So we are going to learn the a priori algorithm, which is very important topic of this data mining, that we are going to cover in the next session. But we can't avoid the things like the frequent item sets and the closed item sets. These are also matters that much, but whenever our data set is too much large, then to find out the minimum means to find out the support and confidence, and according to that if you are doing the things, then it will be a very time consuming. So the solution to this problems is nothing but the a priori algorithm, and we are going to see that. But whenever we are doing any frequent pattern matching in this thing, then for this frequent pattern matching, what is the need is we have to do this thing like whatever the criteria they have mentioned, we should follow that. For example, means which if we are going to mine something, then we should know what are the full set we are required, whether I will require the frequent item set, closed item set, which kind of abstraction I have to insert in them, then how my data is represented, whether it is one dimensional, two dimensional or multi-dimensional. If my data is the multi-dimensional data, then I have to design the multi-dimensional association rule, because the simple association rules cannot be applied on the multi-dimensional data. Then we have to again define which kind of values we are going to give for the association rule, whether it will be a Boolean expression, whether it will be any quantitative data. So this should be a criteria that we need to satisfy whenever we are doing the frequent pattern matching. We should know about this thing, which kind of rules we are going to apply to mine that data, whether I am applying association on that data, whether I am going to apply the correlation on that data. So these things we should have clear in the prior, and we should satisfy the criteria given. And the kinds of patterns to be mined means we should know which frequent patterns we want to search over there, and these things we should know in a prior while we are doing any pattern matching. So related to the same topic, the a priori algorithm, we are going to cover that algorithm in our next upcoming session. So here we are going to stop today with this thing. So thank you a lot, you, and be connected for the next session. Thank you.